Hey, welcome back to section 5 of our Windows 8.1 user interface presentation.
Yep.
Really going to talk about some settings now. This is really kind of getting it more advanced than we had before.
Yeah, settings are basically when you get under the hood. You're checking out how to set up your accounts. You're checking on how apps interact, how the system's configured, those kinds of things.
There's so much people, when they think of Windows 8.1 or Windows 8, and they see the new interface and all that, and they don't even realize how much detail work has been done under the covers, if you will.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of get into some of that and expose that. And then we'll have more sessions as we really get into deep tweaking. Those will be separate ones. But for right now, let's talk from an interface perspective about some of these settings. So how are we going to do that?
Well, we're going to do that through the charm bar.
Okay.
So if we swipe in from the right-hand side, at the bottom you see settings. Now, typically the top portion will be related to whatever is on the screen. In this case, it's the start screen, so you have these upper settings here that are related to the start screen. The bottom section's static. It includes wireless, it includes power, so that's where you shut down.
So to make sure I got that, what you're saying is the top screen is context sensitive based on what you're looking on at the time you swipe the charms bar.
Exactly. If we had the weather app open, it would have information pertaining to that particular app. If we had the desktop open, it would have access to the control panel, things like that.
Got it. Okay.
The bottom half is static. No matter where you are, it's going to have wireless, it's going to have power, it's going to have screen brightness, notifications, power, keyboard, etc., volume, etc. So, and then below that, though, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, is this little phrase: change PC settings.
Dun,
One of the most,
dun.
yeah, it's one of the most powerful sentences in the whole operating system that we have.
Suddenly, I'm excited.
And a lot of people don't even realize it's a link, but if I touch it, we're presented with this new menu. Now, this menu has changed from 8.0 to 8.1. And 8.0 is actually this long list, and now they've kind of broken it up into groups. So you see here PC and devices, accounts, SkyDrive, search, privacy, network, etc. And all of these breaks down into two sublists. So if I hit PC and devices here, I've got lock screen, I've got display, Bluetooth, devices, and all of these things which go into the configuration setup of the operating system.
An important note I would make on this too is any one of these you can use that search that we showed you in the last section. So for example, if I just want to go Bluetooth, instead of navigating through all the charms bar, I can just type Bluetooth in my search, boom, it takes me right here.
Absolutely. If you know the right word, you can search right to it.
And if not, you can see it as we scroll through here.
Absolutely. So this is kind of the setup of the PC peripheral device type thing. Whether or not you want to use the camera, you can see here is an option for that.
I'm seeing some cool stuff here. Now they allow you to tell which apps can show through to the lock screen.
That's correct. And you can add up to I think it's 7 apps, but you can add different ones provided they offer that feature. You could tell you.
I like every once in a while. Brett and I both have a long history with Microsoft, working with Microsoft, and one of the ones I like to tease Microsoft about is for some reason they didn't think about Skype in previous versions. If you got a call, you had to unlock your device before you could answer the call, and oftentimes you'd miss the call. Good news, people, Skype is now one of the apps that by default will allow you to answer a call without having to unlock the device.
Yeah, you can answer a call from a lock screen. That's a nice feature. I'm glad they added that in. I really am. But you have all of these, mouse and all these typical settings that you would see sometimes in control panel. But also here you have account information. We have our account here set up, change account pictures, etc.
And that's just a default picture because we have a demo file here.
Yeah, or sign in. One of the features that is introduced in Windows 8 that I think is really cool is picture passwords. You can basically choose a picture. Oftentimes parents will use their children, etc. And with key point touches on that picture or swipes, you can use that as a legitimate password, and that's absolutely a secure password.
So I have that set up, but let's change that just so we can show people real quick, because it's kind of fun. If I hit the change button here, this is the picture that I pulled up, and it wants to verify first that I really am who I am, so I'm going to put in my secret code, which I just realized is different for this machine. Nope, that worked. Okay. So I can pick which picture I want. We'll use this one because it's up and running, but how would I set a picture password now on this?
Well, first you'd tell Windows, I want to use this picture. So
you'd so you use this picture. Right.
Now it's going to give you basically 3 inputs on this picture, and then it will ask you to repeat. And those inputs can be a touch point or a swipe.
Okay, or
Since
circle actually.
Well, that would be a circle.
It's not a touch point. A touch point is a point, where a circle is a circle.
I said point or swipe.
Do you want me to rewind the film? I know
You can swipe in a circle.
Here we go. I'm going to set the first one to be her eyeball here. So I made a circle around that. Now
Okay.
it's asking me for number 2. What do you want for number 2?
How about the nose stud?
The nose stud. So I press the nose stud.
Yes.
And for number 3, how about, let's make it interesting, how about her ear?
Okay.
We'll give her a wet willy. Okay?
Okay, very
Now
good.
it wants to confirm that.
Yes.
So I'm going to say we did a circle around the eye,
Yep.
we did the nose stud, and then we did the wet willy. It says something's not right.
That's
Probably
because you didn't hit the same. You didn't hit the same point.
Oh, because I was on her lobe instead
Yeah,
of her ear.
see?
It actually is well done. Let's try it one more time.
You gotta hit the try again button.
Try again.
Yep.
I really should not have licked my finger. That was a bad idea. Circle around, touch, and a wet willy in the air. You're right. I was down on the earlobe.
Okay.
All right. So finish up. We'll do it one more time, just to confirm that I can actually hit it the way I'm supposed to, and it's done.
Finish.
And I say finish. And now this entire machine is locked until I do those exact strokes the way I have them on today.
Actually, it's not locked, but we can lock it for you just to kind of emphasize.
Ah!
So let's go ahead and
Let's see if you remember.
well, it's your machine.
You don't
I didn't pay attention.
Circle,
Nose stud,
nose stud,
and ear.
wet willy.
And there we are. We're right into that
right
machine.
back in. And what's nice about the login screens now too is not only can you do a picture password, but you can also back it up. Also back it up with a 4-number ID, like a PIN, and you can also go back to your regular password. So if you ever forget which way you did it, you put the wet willy in the wrong ear or whatever, that's fine. You can always fall back on the other methods.
All right. So there's a few dozen other things we might want to talk about besides wet willies. SkyDrive is another one.
SkyDrive's huge.
Now, SkyDrive is a feature that enables you to kind of attach or tether your device to the cloud. The SkyDrive offers storage in that cloud, 7 gigabytes to start. You could expand to 25, 50, or 100 gig, and on top of that 7 for a nominal yearly fee. And that allows you to place files in the cloud and pull them down to any machine. You could actually synchronize all of them to all of your machines, but you still have access. So that's great for devices that don't have a lot of storage.
And SkyDrive not only by default will be your storage, and you can override that if you want to, but it'll save it out there. And boy, I tell you, that is awesome. You don't even have to think about it, because if something happens to your machine, it's all recoverable, it's all ready. Microsoft actually takes all your account information as well, your tiles, the colors, the layout, everything, and it syncs it as well to SkyDrive. So I can set up a whole new device, I log in as myself, and as soon as I do, everything I had before is right back where I left it.
Absolutely. It's
Very,
very
very
good
cool.
stuff. Camera roll is the same thing. If you use the device camera, it will automatically store it to SkyDrive. So that way, if something happens to the device, you don't lose your pictures, which is important. Sync setting options. You can turn on what you want to carry across different devices, etc., and meter connections, whether or not you're cellular or 3G or Wi-Fi. Search and apps. You can go through and tailor how all of this happens with regard to your applications, etc., or search, safe search. You know, some security stuff in there too.
Yeah, there's so much there. We're just barely scratching the surface on a lot of this.
It's really it really goes pretty deep. So you look at that privacy. You know what you want your apps to be able to utilize, what they don't. Network's another one that's important here, where you can add additional connections like a VPN. Time and languages, where you set your time zone and your preferred language of choice. Ease of access, to compensate for disabilities that some people may have. And the last one is update and recovery, which is, I think, pretty important, because here you get access to Windows Update, also files histories, and also the ability to do recoveries. The great thing about Windows 8 and 8.1 is that you can actually do an in-place recovery or a clean install based upon the bits that are on the box. You don't necessarily have to have your disk handy to do a clean install, and you can do that from recovery.
I had to do this once the other day, and I didn't realize it, but the manufacturers build a partition onto the drive that's invisible until you need the recovery, and then it comes up, and I think I was using a Dell at the time, and it said, hey, I can reinstall factory ready to go out the box from Dell. It was the greatest thing. I mean,
but even if you don't have a partition, you can still recover from the operating system, so it gives you that nice choice.
Very good.
So that's kind of, in a nutshell, the kind of a high-level overview of the settings that are in there. There's obviously a lot more, and you can go very deeply. And realizing that all of this was touch apps, if we go back here and we go to desktop and we hit Windows key X, there's access to a lot of these features under the hood, the traditional Windows way, just by using that key combination as well.
And we'll take 2 seconds just because I forgot to show this in a previous segment, but you made me think of this too. We did show the new user interface, but people do like that deal. We talked about the Windows key having a much more influential role. For example, Windows X pulls that up. But a lot of people may want to know Windows P allows you to set all your presentations. So if you have dual monitor or you're presenting through a projector at a sales presentation, so much better, so much nicer. One of my other favorites is Windows R, which gives you that DOS-type run command that people are very familiar with. They love it when we show them that because you can just type in whatever you want and it'll instantly execute. There's so many more. We could spend all day long going through them, but we're going to go put on our brettandmike.com site a little cheat sheet with all of those command sequences. Yep. And we just barely touched the surface of a lot of the settings stuff. Where can they get more information? They can go up on Microsoft.com and find that as well, right?
Windows.com is also a great site to check that out. Yeah, there's a whole variety. And honestly, there are tons of people who have done a really good job of putting a variety of things on their websites that make it easier to interact with Windows. And
we're going to do more online presentations.
We're
going to be blogging about it. We're going to do podcasts on it. Just keep checking back for us, and we'll try to categorize it. You can easily find it. As you could tell, in summary of all of these segments, Windows 8.1 is an amazing system that I don't think people have been given a fair shot. No. And the more time they spend with it, the more time they appreciate it, the more they come back to us again and again and say, thank you so much. Look, Microsoft's not paying us to do these things. We're doing this on our own, which means you're getting our true, honest feedback on what these are. And I know Brett feels the same way. I was resistant at first, but boy, I love it. I love this interface so much. I would never go back to the old one. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Hopefully you learned something. Please check back to brettandmike.com on a regular basis. And as always, you can send us some feedback to either Brett@brettandmike.com or Mike@brettandmike.com, or you can put both, Brett and Mike at brettandmike.com.
Good feedback at Brett@brettandmike.com.
Bad stuff, throw to me, and I'll ignore it and feed it to the dog. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll check back soon.
Thanks.